First item on the agenda is welcome any public comments. Is anybody on the line that's not a member of the board?
No, just had TV.
Okay. We have a guest this afternoon who's going to give us a little talk about something that we have in front of us.
Nicole Sauer is our outreach coordinator for Southwest Tech.
Southwest Tech's marketing strategy emphasizes quality and thoughtfulness. Using promotional items that align with the school's values and resonate with both students and families. Two standout items exemplify this approach: a high-quality mug and a laser-marked keychain. They're right in front of you as I speak. The mug, chosen deliberately over trendier option, is designed for longevity. Its purpose extends beyond the student and aims to capture the attention of parents, who play a significant role in influencing their child's educational decisions. A sturdy, substantial item like a mug not only reflects Southwest Tech's commitment to excellence, but also serves as a conversation starter in the home, keeping the school's missions and opportunities in view over a period of time. The keychain that's in front of you, created by the Advanced Manufacturing Program, showcases the innovative capabilities of the school's state-of-the-art equipment, crafted using the laser marking machine and Lightburn software. It demonstrates the practical skills students can acquire. This tangible takeaway highlights the hands-on learning opportunities at Southwest Tech, inspiring interest in advanced industry-related tools and technologies. Both items represent Southwest Tech's dedication to creating lasting impressions while fostering curiosity and engagement in students, parents, and the broader community. They symbolize the school's unwavering commitment to providing high-quality education and cutting-edge tools to guide students towards meaningful career paths. So thank you for all you do for our school. I hope every sip from the mug reminds you of the impact we make together at Southwest Tech.
Thank you. Very nice job.
Yeah.
Yes.
So on tours or visitors, these items that we purchased can be a takeaway, and just like I mentioned earlier, has like a longevity to them that hopefully keeps our name out there and keeps the conversation going on what we have to offer. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nicole.
Thanks, Nicole.
Okay, next item will be the consent agenda. We have the minutes from the regular meeting on Monday, November 18th.
I'm moving. Seconded.
Okay, got a motion and second. Any questions on the minutes? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Payroll warrant 1019, motion?
Second.
Okay, any questions on the payroll? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
And lastly, the vendor warrants 1018 and 1020.
No, don't move. Second.
Okay,
Second it.
any questions on the warrants? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
We had the cash flow in your Dropbox. Committee report, finance first, so Mr. Cutler.
Okay, finance met, I believe, a total of 3 times. We saw a variety of options for the budget. I really have to thank Rebecca for listening and work to tailor that down to what you're gonna see in a minute. I'll take Ken's quote that he said, you know, that you'll see in the budget is that, you know, we really tried hard to produce a balanced budget. And the increases that you'll see are pretty much all costs that are out of our control. And we did our best not to impact student learning and their successes. So with that, I will hand it over to Rebecca for the presentation.
Do it when we get to.
Oh, okay, the action items, okay. Well, there, that's it.
Okay. And the policy, Asher, do you have a report on that?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, so we had a good and quick right to the punch policy committee meeting on December 3rd. We essentially discussed that we were moving 6191C to the full board for a vote, rather, we discussed that it would be going to the board for a full vote. We also discussed 5266, educational support system, and 6,000, which is curriculum development, excuse me. We discussed those. I don't believe that we found any cause to move either of those policies onto the full board for a vote. It was editorial stuff. And that's all I have for our policy committee update. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, under action item, the first item, we all have the blue sheet in our packets. It's new district policy, equity policy replacing, as Asher said, the holiday observance. Do we have a motion to adopt it?
Seconded.
Yeah, we have a motion second to adopt the district equity policy. Any questions on it? Has it been warned and now it's going to be voted on? Okay, seeing none, all in favor of adoption? Thank you, Asher, and the committee.
My pleasure. Our pleasure.
Okay, next, we have the annual budget.
So it's just gonna take me a minute, I'm gonna share my screen, I hope. So can everybody at home or on the computer see the screen right now, the Southwest Vermont Regional Technical School District budget?
Yes.
Yes.
So there's hard copies that are here for those people here, you may have it. Or it was in the Dropbox, there was a PDF version of this in the Dropbox, so you can reference that. There's some details in here about the budget that if anybody from the community was attending today's meeting, I wanted them to have that information for the recording of today's meeting in case somebody were to watch it later. And this same presentation, if we approve the budget that I'm proposing or that the finance committee is proposing today, it will also be on our website so that the community could access this and look at some details. So you'll see some slides in here, assuming that some people need a little more information about who we are. So the first screen just shows the different sending schools that we serve. This is just a little bit of information about us. These are at the top are 2 or 3 year technical programs. The reason for 3 years is some students come back after they graduate to attain additional IRCs, training hours, additional skills, perhaps. So they may join us as a postgraduate. So these are 2 to 3 year technical programs. We also offer some daytime pre-tech foundation classes that introduce students to our technical programs. So if they're trying to decide whether they're interested in accounting or interested in business management, they could potentially take a pre-tech foundation class as a sophomore and see whether it's for them. If they're interested in med professions, they could take an emergency med class to see if it's something they're interested in. So we have the pre-tech foundation classes. We also have workforce certification courses and adult ed training courses that take place here. These are, some adult ed students are during the day with our high school students. Some adult ed training courses are after school or in the evenings. And some certification courses are in person and some are online. And you can see some of them listed here, like the CDL and the LNA programs. And we also offer so many that, to put a number here, it's over 1,200, I can't list them all, over 1,200 classes online in partnership with Ed2Go. So if someone is interested in a class and some of these pathways you see here, they could go online to Ed2Go off of our website and take a look at maybe courses in the business field, courses in the language, courses in IT, and potentially take an online course through us with our partnership with Ed2Go. So this is just a little brief intro about that. Just to kind of clarify, a CTE program student. So the program students are the students that spend 2 hours with us in their program each day. We're a part-time tech center. So students are with us 2 hours a day. A career technical education student is actively engaged in hands-on learning experiences and consistently strives for mastery in both the technical and theoretical components of the curriculum. They show a keen understanding of industry standards and are able to apply their knowledge in practical settings, preparing them for real-world challenges. Their ability to earn both college credits and industry credentials speaks to their dedication and readiness for further education or immediate employment in a highly competitive job market. Whether working independently or in collaborative settings, the student demonstrates responsibility, initiative, and an eagerness to succeed, positioning themselves as an asset to both their future employers and educational institutions. So basically, we provide that student with that kind of little extra if they were to go on an interview for both a college or a work position, an open job position. They are prepared and maybe have a little more on their resume than a student who is just graduating high school. So CTE program completer, so a student who goes through 2 years of our program, they attend, whether it be auto or building trades, any of our programs, they attend 2 years and they complete the 2 years in our program with a passing grade. Not only do they complete the program, they also could have the opportunity and could potentially walk out of here with 3 to 6 college credits already on their transcript and or tier 2 industry recognized credentials, which we refer to as IRCs. So that opportunity in itself, it doesn't cost them for those college credits. It's usually through a dual enrollment option. So they could save money. They could get a jump start on their college education, add to their resume, add to their transcript. The IRCs, again, could be a jump start if they were competing for an open position, and having those IRCs could be the difference between them getting the job and someone else. You can see a list of potential college courses depending on which program the student is enrolled in. I think some of them are pretty obvious. Intro to Human Services would be a student in our Human Services program. Intro to Criminal Justice would be our law enforcement program, and so on. On the right-hand side, you can see a number of tier 2 IRCs. Those students test out to show that they've earned those IRCs in a variety of ways. It could be an online test. It could be a hands-on timed event where they have to produce a final product. They may have to do the task. I mean, there are a variety of ways that these IRCs are awarded to the student depending on what it is. And you can see some things like in automotive, the ASE certification in brakes, suspension and steering, and so on. So these are valuable IRCs that are career industry standards. These are things that if they're going in that particular career, those businesses that may be hiring them know exactly what these things mean, are looking for them, and a lot of times these students, again, it's kind of a nice thing added to their resume. That's something they get when they attend Southwest Tech. This is just a quick snapshot of students in action, and it's a variety of our programs. Again, one of the things that we kind of stress is it's a lot of hands-on learning. It's doing and learning what that professional field, that industry is all about. It could be working in the community, volunteering, could be Habitat for Humanity, could be a variety of, helping in an area that needs clearing that is owned by the town. It could be working on a project for the town or a Little League field and so on. So There's a variety of things that our students are doing and are involved in with community service, and yet getting that hands-on learning at the same time. So this is just for those who may look at this presentation later, to get an idea of what our students are doing. To get down to the numbers, after meeting with the finance committee, we are proposing and asking for this board to consider the FY '26 budget to be set at $5,154,303. It is an increase of 6.99%. And I've provided for you what, that should say, I provided and didn't provide the right one. I provided FY '24, and I should have provided FY '25. So I apologize. You read this over and over and over again, and you find that I made a typo on this. So I apologize, and that will be fixed. The 6.99% is an accurate percentage. The number I have there for FY '24 is not the one we want to compare it to. We want to compare it to FY '25. And FY '25's budget is the number there. I just didn't label, I didn't change this to an FY '25. So know that this is the dollar amount for FY '25's budget. It's just labeled with the wrong year, so I apologize. I will fix that for the purposes of the website. To help you understand the 6.99% increase, these are key factors, and we've labeled them inflexible increases because we as a board, we as a school have no control over these increases. They are not part of what we can change in this upcoming budget. There is proposed increase in health insurance rates, and it was proposed at 11.9% for the majority of the people, the plan that they are on. It had a range between 11 and 12, 11.9 and 12.2%. 99.9% of the people are on the 11.9% increase. It works out to approximately a $60,000 increase compared to this year's budget. There's a 9.9% plus step negotiated salary increase that's set in place for next year. That negotiated salary increase results in about $246,420 increase. Because salaries have increased, the FICA tax on both the employee and employer, in this case, I'm focusing on the employer side, results in about $18,850 increase. Vermont Municipal Employees Retirement System, not only is there an increase because of salary increases, but there is an increase on the employer rate of 0.25%. So the combination of them increasing the rate and salary increases results in approximately $6,800 increase. The Vermont State Teacher OPEB payment, again, that's a payment that goes toward benefits after they retire. And that payment increase is estimated because I do not even have the invoice for this year's, but I went by looking at the trend of the percentage it increases each year. It would be an increase of approximately $3,500. The Act 76 child care tax, which was put in place starting this year, which is a 0.44% tax. Looking at the employer and salary increases, that would be approximately $1,000 in addition to what we normally pay this year for that child care tax. Adding them all up and looking at our overall dollar increase, all of these inflexible increases, and I have it on the next slide as well. All of these inflexible increases, these fixed increases, average out to be 99.95% of why we have of our total increase. So looking at the dollar amount, 99.95% of the money that we need is because of these inflexible increases. 0.05% of our increase is other things that we've chosen to keep in the budget, including increases with supplies, increases, for supplies for the programs, increases for some pieces of equipment. So it's very, very minimal. We've tried our best to respect the fact that, our community is, dealing with tax increases and cost of living increases everywhere. So we've tried to keep our budget as low as possible without impacting student learning. And with the work of the finance committee, this is the budget we were prepared to bring to you that did the best we could without hurting student learning. Along with the budget, I want to present to you what would be our announced tuition number. And in order to do that, it involves our 6th semester FTE calculation. So preparing the FY26 budget, we would go into that preparation with a 149.42 FTE, which is a full-time equivalent. And a full-time equivalent is a student enrollment of 240 minutes per day. So basically, it's 2 students in our program. And this is just kind of rounding briefly. It's rounding a little bit. It's 2 students in our program equals one FTE. So 1 student sits with us for 2 hours, which is 120 minutes. So 2 of those students doing that is the equivalent of 1 FTE in the eyes of the state. So we have 149.42 FTEs. And that's important because we get some help from the state based on our FTE count, and you'll see that in a few minutes. Our proposed budget again would result in a proposed announced tuition of $29,619. The dollar amount change from this year's announced tuition is $2,744. I did get, so for those in the finance committee, I did get some numbers from the state, from the AOE on Thursday of last week. It came out late, which allowed me to play with and reduce that announced tuition a little bit from when we met. We did have it up over in the 30,000 range, so I was able to bring it down. And so if you're looking at that number looking a little small, we were able to make it reduce a little bit more. To break that down to know exactly what it would be resulting for a student, if our announced tuition is $29,619, we get what's known as a general state support grant, nicknamed the On Behalf payment, which is a payment directly from the AOE on behalf of the schools. And it's 87% of the base ed per FTE. And I had a little bit higher number when I first presented this to the board. I had FY25's number for this. And I said to them, I felt very safe with that number because they've never gone backwards. They never reduced this number, and I spoke too soon. Because the base ed amount did decrease, they went backwards and went down 2.87%. So this $11,021 per FTE that we get on behalf is actually less than what we're getting this year. The supplemental assistance grant is also based on our base ed amount, and therefore that number is less this year, is less for FY26 than what we're currently getting this year. It would be $4,434. Taking those away from our announced tuition to identify what an FTE Vermont student would have to pay, well, I should say 2 Vermont students because it's an FTE, it would be $14,164. That's an increase of $3,226 from this year. Separating that out so we know what 1 student versus an FTE, tuition per Vermont program student, a student in our program all year, 1 student, the tuition that would be charged to the sending school would be $7,082. That is an increase from this year of $1,613. The biggest reason for that increase being a little bit more is because the on behalf and the supplemental assistance actually went down. They reduced the aid from the state compared to this year. So I'm open to answer questions, and then if there are, or once we answer the questions, I'm hoping that there would be a motion, two separate motions. A motion to vote and approve the FY '26 budget as proposed at $5,154,303. Obviously, a discussion with that, and then a vote to approve it. And if so, then we would move forward, and that would be on the warning that we would look at in January. If that motion goes through, and that's, the next step would be a motion to vote and approve the announced tuition. Again, two separate motions, because the announced tuition depends on our budget. So if we don't set a budget, then we can't motion and accept an announced tuition. And then if those are both set, then the next thing that I'll bring before this board will be in January, which would be the warning for the annual town meeting, because the board members need to approve it and sign it, physically sign it in person. So for that meeting, if you don't attend that meeting, we would need to get that copy to you or have you stop in to sign it, because it would have to be signed in ink. Last year, they did not allow us to do a digital signature. So I'm gonna open it up for questions from the committee or from the board and go from there.
Anybody have any questions? It's too bad you have to mention that announced tuition was really not a number. That with all the state aid that we get, it's about half, yeah. Okay, seeing no questions.
Oh,
Go ahead. No. Well, first of all, have a motion to approve the fiscal year '26 budget of $5,154,303.
I'll move it. I'll second it.
Second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussions at all? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? None, okay. Next, we need a motion to approve the announced tuition of $29,619.
Second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any questions about the tuition? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. And then we just have to wait and get the warning also printed out and sent in.
So I just want to say thank you to everybody for supporting that. The students definitely appreciate and value the fact that you do know what happens here and that you value their education, so thank you.
Thank you for your hard work.
Yeah, thank you for all the work. Now we have approved treasurer's salary increase. Is that you, Becky?
That is me as well. Stays on the top. I stay, I just need to open that one now. And this is also in the Dropbox. Why it's showing the other thing and not that. I'm seeing. Well, I'll stop sharing for a minute and see if I can get that back. We'll try again. Okay, so the next item is approving the treasurer's salary increase. So I'm bringing it before the board. It will appear on the warning if this board supports it. And then again, keep in mind that this would be an item that would be voted on at the floor level of the town meeting on that Monday before the election day. So I'm asking the board's support to be able to include this on the warning. Our treasurer has requested a salary increase, and I fully support it. The salary set for our treasurer has not increased since 2019. And this increase is $800, and if you were to break it down by paycheck, it works out to about $30 a paycheck for the 26 pay periods. So I'm asking for the board's support to be able to increase the treasurer's salary $800 from what it currently is in FY '25, so that on the warning that you'll see in January, it would be an $800 increase. And I just need the board's support in doing so. So it's a raise of $800, but really, this position has not had a raise since 2019. So I fully support the request, and I think it's, long overdue personally, for all we ask the person to do.
I'll move it.
Okay, we have a second?
Second.
Big second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
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 And finally, the last item here under action, board members stipend criteria.
Well, that's me again. And then I'll be done and I'll sit quietly in my corner here. Also on the warning, we established the annual salaries of the district directors, which are our board members. And it has been asked of me in the past from board members about the stipend. And we've looked around at other schools, not just tech centers, but other schools in the state of Vermont. And we've noticed that, in particular, another tech center, but other schools as well, include a kind of a clause or wording or stipulation, I'm not sure how you want to word this, but along with establishing the salary, there's an expectation, and it would be voted on at the floor level, and the community could include it or ask to remove it. So this would be, again, something that is at the floor meeting, the Monday before elections, and the community would make the motions and accept or approve or deny it. But what we'd like to do is add the clause that says, as long as they attend at least 50% of the meetings. Now, understand, we're not saying they have to be in person. It's just a matter of attending 50% of the meetings. So it would stay attached to the piece that says, and it's typically our first article, it may or may not be our first article on the next warning, but it would basically say Article 1, to establish the annual salaries of the district directors at $1,500 each. And the little asterisk says, as long as they attend at least 50% of the meetings. It could be by phone, by Zoom, in person, but attending the regularly scheduled RGB meetings. So.
I'll move that.
We have motion and second. Any questions on
I just want to state,
it? Yeah.
I appreciate this request. It actually echoes concerns I have had and raised in the past regarding this very issue. So to whoever put this in, thank you.
Any other comments? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye.
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 All right, superintendent's report.
Okay, first I would like to thank Rebecca Tattersall for all of her hard work on the budget. Many of you are not aware of this, but last week she had auditors here also as she was trying to pull together the budget presentation and finalize that. So I would like to thank her for her hard work in that. Second, I would like to thank both the finance committee and board members for supporting the budget. I think you've developed a budget that makes sense, but also doesn't impact student learning. And I know that our teachers definitely appreciate that as well. So thank you all for that. In front of you is a copy, and I'll make sure that we put a copy in the Dropbox for those of you online. But we have our December edition of the Southwest Tech updates. In the December edition, I'll just give you a bit of a summary as to what you'll find in that this month. But our students continued to be actively engaged in hands-on learning, community projects, and professional development across all the programs. Medical profession students earned their first aid CPR certifications, with year 2 focusing on dual enrollment coursework and job shadowing. Year 1 students are exploring the healthcare systems. Forestry students supported the Bennington Lions Club fundraiser and are preparing to visit the National Forest to continue their dendrology lessons. Law enforcement classes are advancing communication and crime scene investigation skills. Human services students completed specialized training and began apprenticeships, while massage therapy students progressed in anatomy and practical techniques like Swedish massage and aromatherapy. Culinary arts achieved a record-breaking success with their annual pie sales. They actually made 380 pies. I think last year they made 253, so it was quite the increase this year. They are now transitioning to holiday cookie sales and bistro operations. Video and TV production students continue to produce their weekly episodes of Class Act and other video projects. If you have not checked that out on YouTube TV, the Southwest Tech TV, I suggest that you do that. They have a Halloween special, they have a Thanksgiving special, and they have an episode where Mr. Lamson and I participated on a game show, and yes, we came away with the trophy. That's all I'm gonna say. Business management and accounting students are gaining workplace skills through internships and financial training, while advanced manufacturing and cosmetology programs are contributing to the school and local community through innovative projects and service initiatives. Upcoming events include holiday cook sales and field trip to Mac Molding for business management and accounting students. And our programs continue to deliver valuable real-world experiences for all of our students. So have fun reading this month's edition of the Southwest Tech Updates. In your Dropbox shortly before the meeting, so those of you that are physically here may not have gotten it, but you have a copy of a letter that you had asked that I write to the governor and some senators requesting some funding for Southwest Tech to expand programming. There's a copy of that letter in the Dropbox, and those of you that are here, it's physically here in front of you. My suggestion would be for you guys to look it over, give me some feedback, and at the January meeting, give me the go-ahead to send it. The reason why I'm thinking wait to send it is because, right, they won't be starting until January 20th. That's why I had changed the date.
Oh, yeah, 25 then, so that's only.
Right,
It's just 24.
20, oh, yeah.
I know what you meant. We're still in this.
Okay. Yes,
Can you send it before that?
I can.
January 8th is when they start the first meeting up there.
So January 8th.
Well, Rick, thank you very much.
Okay.
I read it over here.
And the only other thing is a reminder that on January 13th is our next RGB meeting, which is at 10 o'clock. As Becky had mentioned, it'd be good if people could physically be here in order to, sign what you need to sign. And what I'll do in the meantime is arrange for some program visits. The 10 o'clock time is a little bit difficult, because we don't have program students during that time. But that isn't necessarily, necessary, I guess. But I'll come up with a plan for us to
It worked out
visit
well last time.
some tours, yeah, do some tours through a couple of the programs. And that's all that I have.
And, I don't have anything, it's just that I hope everybody has a nice holiday and, see everybody on January 13th.
I have a question.
Yes,
Leon,
ma'am.
the letter that you put in, Ken, that, I think we needed to have the board voted to say that we support this as a board and for the direction, you as the chair to send this to Governor Scott. Because all it did was, it says, it gave your name as the chair of the board. But somehow I think, and this is just me, I'm saying that the board vote unanimously to support this effort as directed in this letter from the board chair.
So do you need a motion for that, Leon?
I just think that that would give more strength to the letter because it's not just one individual saying it's the board chair, but we're giving the board chair the power, and we want to stand behind that. And I want the governor to know that all of the board is strongly supportive of this letter. And somehow, if that's okay,
Yeah, so somewhere in the letter, make it known that this is on behalf of the board.
Right.
that's correct.
Thank you, I agree with you.
So you need a motion.
Oh, I make a motion.
No, I'll second that motion.
Actually, if I could ask a question? Before, so we're not actually voting to approve the letter at this time, is that correct? Or are we?
I thought that it would be good to, the legislature meets the 8th of January.
Well, I guess the reason I'm asking, Ken, is that I haven't seen this letter, and I'll abstain, I don't mind, but I'm not gonna vote for something that I haven't seen. If that could be put, if I could see it before, I mean, I'm sure it's fine, I'm not gonna raise my hand if I haven't read it.
It's in the Dropbox.
Yeah, I still don't have that. I just have the stuff that I was given physically, unless it was in my email, which I could confirm that.
No, we just put it in the Dropbox, John.
Okay, then I'm gonna need to figure out, I would have to talk about getting access to the Dropbox, but I'll just abstain. I don't mind, but I'm not gonna, I don't feel comfortable
Okay.
voting if I don't.
John, they're gonna send you an email with the attachment with the letter.
Actually, Becky can share it on the screen right now.
Oh, that would be sweet. Thank you.
And while she's doing that, I can read it. Do you want me to read it? Yeah? Okay. So it says, Dear Governor Scott, as you know, investment in education is paramount. However, investment in career and technical education is crucial to our community, state, and nation as a whole. Most communities are feeling the real effects of shortages in areas such as healthcare, automotive, manufacturing, building trades, including HVAC, electrical and plumbing, education and childcare, and public safety / law enforcement, just to name a few. Southwest Vermont Regional Technical School District provides education and training in all of the above areas and more. Students leave our school, in parentheses, Southwest Tech, with the content, knowledge, and skills ready for a career, to continue post-secondary education and training, or both. In October 2024, the Berkshire Eagle from Massachusetts published 2 articles that we believe you will find interesting. We have enclosed copies for your review. The first article, McCann Tech Facility Fills HVAC Training Void, discusses how McCann Tech received $1.3 million state skills capital grant in 2022 to build a state-of-the-art 5,580 square foot building to house a new HVAC training program. The second article, 1 million grant to update purchase equipment, appeared in the Friday, October 25th, 2024 edition of the Berkshire Eagle. This article describes how Taconic High School was one of 18 schools in Massachusetts to receive a Skills Capital Lab Modernization Grant. This funding will allow Taconic High School to update and purchase equipment for its metal fabrication and horticulture programs. In this year's coming budget, we ask that you include $3 million for the Southwest Vermont Regional Technical School District to continue to grow our programs and train more students in high technical skills so that our students can assist in meeting the needs of our community. This type of funding will change our community from the ground up.
Is that enough money, or should we ask for more? Not that we're gonna get it. Maybe you should ask for 5 million. Put your feet to the fire.
You should see a beautiful building they built in North Adams, 5.5 square feet.
You know, I started following the politics in 2015. And when I find out and watch Congress, and it's really boring stuff, but I mean, you watch this stuff and the programs that we're paying for, just in this state alone, it dumbfounds you why we spending millions of dollars on stupidity, but that's what we do, instead of putting the money in a tech center or in our schools or something, so, anyway.
Okay, John, can you vote on this?
Well, thank you, but is it okay if I ask a question?
Yes, go ahead.
Or even 2? I'm just curious where the $3 million came from, that figure came from. I'm just curious if there's anything also, if there's something specific in the letter. It mentions that the money provided in Mass was for blah, blah, or blah. Is it usual, and I don't usually contact my, representatives or whatever and ask them for money, so I don't know what's usual and customary. Is it unusual to ask them for a grant or ask them for money without saying what we want it for? I'm just curious at this point.
I would, maybe if it was put in this letter, that $3.1 million would go for a building. That's what they use that money for in North Adams. And I
Right.
visited there, and it's really amazing how large it is. 5,500 square feet is a pretty good sized building.
Mhm.
And they have money left to also outfit. It's like here, we have building trade. They can always put that building together, and do a good part of it, and save money and use that for equipment.
Okay, cool.
Okay, and it's Leon here, just to come at it's great that we ask our legislators to support this. This is what we're not having done in the southern part of the state. The 2 of them copied on this is monumental for getting this put through, because they supposed to represent us. And it would have been great if they would have came through and followed up with a letter themselves to the governor.
Right.
Right.
We need a motion to approve this letter.
Yep.
Are we gonna approve it in January or what?
If you need the January 8th date, you want to get it approved today. If you can-
Okay,
Yeah.
then.
Motion.
Okay, we got a motion from,
There was a motion.
Fran and a second.
Yes.
From Asher.
I suppose I'll second or make the motion to.
All in favor of sending this letter dated January 8th, 25? In favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
I did have one thing under other.
Yes,
just a reminder that some board members, their term expires, so you want to get the paperwork. If you plan on returning to be elected again for another 3-year term. So Leon, Fran, Charles, or Chuck, Ken, and we have an opening because Dane had resigned. So we have 5 board members that would be up for reelection. If any of you that I've named are not going to continue, it would be very appreciated if you contacted the superintendent to let her know so that we are prepared. And I also need to know for preparing and working with the town of Bennington for the ballot. So it would be helpful. Again, if you plan on running again for another 3-year term, you need to pull the paperwork with the town in order to get signatures and do what's necessary. That's it, just a reminder to people.
Thank you. Okay, motion to adjourn then?
Second.
Favor? Aye.
Happy holidays.
Yes,
Happy holidays.
Yes. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Recording stopped.
Isn't that awesome?